Hi there, it's Liz Yuille from Old Staples Crafts here. Thank you for joining me again. This is today's project and it's a little box and it uses the Carols of Christmas bundle that is now available for customers to order. All you have to do is go over to my online store and you will be able to get this. Obviously I will link all the information below as ever. It's as I say, it's a bundle, which means that if you buy both at the same time, you save 10% on the overall cost, which is always a bonus. We really like saving money, don't we? And if you spent money in July, you will have bonus coupons that you can spend in August, which makes it even cheaper. So what's not to like about that? This comes in red rubber. Two of them are out because I've got them prepped ready for this project. So it's either on clear mount, which is what I use, or wood mount, whichever you prefer. I like these because they take less space, which for me, because I am a bit of a stamp addict, I need the space. And it looks as if I have fewer stamps if they're narrower. It's my theory and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, there are some really wonderful things that you can do with this. I've already shown you a couple of projects, but this is the first one with the 3D. So let's have a look at this. The ribbon, I've only put ribbon on one side, or round one side rather than going over the top, because I wanted the ribbon to tie at the front of the box. So if you untie it, it's actually, the ribbon is captured behind these two trees here and under the sentiment, and then inside is this little candle, which, if I can remember how to do it, I will think about getting some patterns around candles ready for Christmas. I do sort of remember how to do it, but it's how to show it to you on camera successfully. This candle came in a pack of 4 from IKEA, so is readily available. So yeah, I always like to use things that you can get pretty much whichever country you are in. I will try hard to work out the metric measurements, but I'm not holding my breath on that one. I will do my best, and assuming that I've managed to work those out, I will add them to my, God, I can't tie a bow. I will add them to the blog post. All the imperial measurements will definitely be there. It's just whether I manage to work out the metric as well. I'm having one of those days where nothing seems to be going quite right. So, as I say, I'll do my best. Oh, have you ever managed to do a half-decent bow? So I'll do my best for you, but fingers crossed. Right, so this is Soft Sky and Wild Wasabi, and it uses the new Classic Weave ribbon. I'm just checking it. I think it is in Soft Sky. It is in Soft Sky. I get my Soft Sky and my Pool Party confused sometimes, but this one is Soft Sky. We're not doing that again. This time we're going to do it in monochrome, and I really do mean monochrome. So I used, say, Wild Wasabi, Soft Sky Classic Weave ribbon, and then this was the silver foil and the white glimmer paper. This time I am going to be doing black and white. So white base, black top, still the white glimmer paper, the Dazzling Diamonds glimmer paper. I have pre-cut, just for speed, some single trees. Let's pop those on there, then you can see them. Some single trees from the glimmer paper and one from the silver foil. I'm not sure I'll use the one from the silver foil. I'm thinking I'll just use the glimmer paper ones, but I will see how I feel at the end. And the reason I'm saying that is because I'm going to switch out the ribbon as well, and I'm going to use the silver-edged metallic ribbon in white, and it's whether I want to pick out that silver again. I may, we'll see. So I've also pre-cut some double trees in the black, because those will go around the side. So let's get started. We'll be doing heat embossing as well. So there is quite a bit to do. So we better get on and do it. Right, I don't need that. Right, okay, so let's bring in the scoring board, which is always a great place to start. I can hardly believe that we're on Christmas already. We're still waiting for summer here in Oxfordshire. We had some in June. It was very, 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 very warm in June, and now it's quite autumnal. Right, okay, so this is thick Whisper White, just so that it's a bit more substantial. So I am scoring at 2 3/8. Oh, and I must come back and let you know how big the box is, which I will do in a minute. So 2 3/8, 4 3/4. I'm just making sure that it's well scored. 7 1/8. And then 9 1/2. And those are obviously on the long edge. Oh, the measurements of the card would be useful, wouldn't they? So it's 10 inches by 5 5/8. Sorry. So 10 by 5 5/8. I did tell you my brain's really not working today. So that was on the long edge. On the short edge, I am scoring at 2 3/8. And it doesn't matter which short edge. It just doesn't matter. So 2 3/8. Then while we're at it, we might as well do the lid. Now the lid measures just over, it's one of those unhelpful measurements, just over 4 3/8. It's 4 5/16. And that's so that it's just got a nice snug fit over the base. And I'm scoring that on each of the 4 sides at 1 inch. And it's quite important because it's a funny measurement. It is important that you score each of the edges separately so that you know that the drop is 1 inch on all 4 sides. So that's the scoring done. Put that away. So we'll start with the base. So as ever, score all our burnish, fold and burnish all our lines, and we want to fold towards the mountain. So the side that we were embossing from, so the side that was up, is the outside of our box. It just folds better that way. So the only thing we're cutting away is this small piece. So let's, it may be easier if I cut it, see if you can see it from this side. Now, you will notice that there is this ridge. If I'm cutting something away, I like to cut to the outside of the bit I'm cutting away. So my ridge is here, I'm cutting here because this is the bit I'm losing. Lose this, have the ridge cut. Then notch out and notch out at the top. And that's just so that will be neat. Now, you need to work out which is your back. I like to have the cut edge at my back. So this is the back, and that's the side, so that you don't get that look. So this is the back, this is the front, side, side. The sides we're going to just notch into very slightly, just so that it sort of helps put the whole thing together. And then again, because this is the bit that I'm going to keep as a square, I'm going to cut away the ridge. So again, let's just notch that out a bit. I know everyone has a slightly different way of doing this, but this is the way I like to do it. It works for me. So yes, that's why I do it. So we're, again, side, side, back, well, front, back. So we're going to just wedge out there as well. And again here. And there. Whoops. Right, I'm also on the side pieces going to take a very small bit. It's one of those, you know, smidge jobs. and that again is just so that it helps everything fit together, because inside the base is going to be quite tight. So we'll get rid of all of that. I've just realised the light in here. 1 minute it's glorious sunshine, and the next it's not, so I'll put my light on and hopefully that will help a bit. So there we are. If I move this along, so we've cut out that little bit, and then we've got very gently wedged 2 sides, and then the middles are, or the bottoms are, left as they are. So fast fuse on the side, and then fold that in, and then more fast fuse on one of your sides. You only need it on one of your sides, and don't get too close to the edge. It doesn't matter too much, but it's, yeah, just not to get too close. Whoops. And then that one goes in, whoops, and the other one folds over it, trying to make sure that the box is actually square. So like that. And then more fast fuse on the side. Oh, I need to just check which is the front and which is the back, don't I? That's the back, so that's the front. Yep, no, that is actually the right one, because you want the flap that is at the back to be the one that you fold forward, so that again you hide your seam. So that's coming forward, and just make sure that's square. And then this one, again, lots of lovely fast fuse, because the candle's quite heavy. It's not as bad as a jar candle, but we do want to make sure that the base is nice and solid. And then just put your hand into possibly your bone folder just to make sure that's all nice and solid. So that's your basic box. So now let's make our basic lid. So we've scored that already. And if you remember, we scored at 1 inch on all 4 sides, moving round so that we knew that each of them was exactly 1 inch. And this time we are going to, can you, oh, I don't, yes, you can just about see it. Again, this time I'm going to have the flaps on either side, so I'm going to cut to the side of the ridge, cut away the ridge, and then wedge, cut to the side of the ridge, cut away the ridge, and wedge, and then again the other side. This is actually, it may look complicated, may not look complicated. Depends on how much of this sort of crafting you've done before. But it's actually not that complicated. This is one of those, it looks more complicated than it is, I think. So again, let's get rid of those bits. And then we're going to put fast fuse on each of these flaps. And they just need a little bit, because they're not taking much pressure, they're just holding the card in place. Now you could, if you've got patience, which I don't, use glue. That would be just as effective because it's a nice strong adhesive. I wouldn't recommend snail on card though. So you want to line up your cut edge against your folded edge. And again, and then if you're worried that that's not going to fit, you can just check your base by putting your base in. And then you can fold round, but because I've got the tiny little bit of extra, oh, I still haven't given you the measurements, have I, of the box? Because I've got that tiny little bit of extra, I'm reasonably confident, famous last words, that they will fit together. Here we go, fingers crossed. Yep, nice snug fit. So the box is actually 2 3/8 square at the base, and then it's 3 1/4 inches tall, because that's basically how high the candle is, how big the candle is. So that's our basic box. So now all we've got to do is remind ourselves that this is the back, because here is my cut edge. So I want that towards the back. Bring in. Actually, shall I do my stamping first? no, I'm going to do this because then I know where the back of my box is, because I'll build all of the stuff on the front of my box separately. Now, this is where I will use fast glue, because I like glue for sticking bits to my box. You could use fuse. I would recommend, if you're using fuse, to use your silicone mat so that you don't run over the edges. Now, you want these quite close to the bottom, because if I bring in my original, you will see that there is actually some maths has gone on here. They just, the top of the box drops down to just miss the top of the trees. So you don't want the trees too far up from the base, otherwise they will be covered up by your lid. So do remember, you need to come as far to the edge as you can, just to get those little bits that stick out. And again, oops. And then the last one round here, well, not the last one, but the last one, so that I remember where the front is. This is really all this is I remember where the front is when we come to make it later. Come to finish it later, probably a better word. So I hope you're getting excited. I know it is far too early to start thinking about Christmas, but we've got autumn and Halloween coming too, and trust me, I've seen the new catalogue. The autumn stuff, and I mean autumn, not Halloween. The Halloween stuff's lovely, but there's some gorgeous stuff for autumn. When you get to see it, you will see what I mean. I am slightly biased, and you'll understand why when you see it. Right, okay, so now let's do the stamping. There's not a huge amount of stamping to do. Now, I am using the Peace on Earth stamp and the little deer. I'm going to emboss. Well, you know, it's sad, isn't it? I very carefully kept that. That's the wrong piece. Bear with me, I just need to cut this piece down to the right size and then cut another mat, I think. Let me just check. I'll be with you in a moment. Yep. Okay, so for the stamping, you need a piece of black that is measuring, it's lovely when a plan comes together, 2 1/4 inches square. So let's just trim that down, because white embossing really won't show up on black cardstock, will it? So that's that, and then I will need another piece of white, which is 2 3/8 of an inch square, actually just under, yeah, no, 2 3/8 will do. 2 3/8 of an inch square. 2 3/8 of an inch square. Yes, good, right. Okay, I did warn you that today was not a good day. Okay, right, let's try this properly. So, I'm going to be embossing on the black cardstock in white. So, embossing buddy, don't go mad with your embossing buddy on your black cardstock, or it will end up looking a bit like a blackboard. And you'll end up with it looking as if it's all just been wiped off not very well. First mark onto our Peace on Earth stamp. Now this is tight, so knowing how today's going, the chances of me getting this right first time are something between 0 and nothing, but let's give it a go. Actually, if I have it that way round, that might be better. Okay, fingers crossed. Just going to hold it there whilst it sort of transfers the ink across. Whoo, just. Whew. That was close. However, close is good enough. So, white embossing powder in my box, and just a piece of card to dangle it over with. I've got a piece of fluff there, so let's get rid of that. just dangle. I think it's enough, quite enough on my huff. There we go. I think I've caught the edge of the ink pad, or stamp rather. So if there are any little bits, just get rid of them. You can use a brush, but I do find that a nail works quite well just for a little bit. Right, okay, it's alchemy time. So, as I say, it's not quite as square as I would have liked it to be, but, you know, I'm on candid camera and all that. So I'm just going to clip that on, careful to not catch my embossing powder. Heat up my heat tool. And away we go. So I like to get about inch and a half away, and then as soon as it starts melting, move around. What I do not do is this, because that actually doesn't help terribly. It's much better to do one area and then just slowly move around, and then just check there are no dull bits left. Often where you start, you need to come back and just finish off. And that looks fine. So I will leave that to dry, because you do need your powder to finish drying off. And I'm now going to bring in my Memento ink pad and my little dear. Just ink him up. I think my pad probably needs to be re-inked, but hey ho, there we go. Yes, that's not brilliant. Might actually try. No, I was going to say, well, I'd try my archival, but I won't. I think that needs re-inking as well. It's clearly time I re-inked some of my black ink pads. That's a bit better. I did actually catch the edge of my stamp on the first one I did there. I wouldn't have minded, because we are now going to cut that out with a die, so it wouldn't actually have shown. Let me just cut that for you. Magnetic base plate, which probably means that because it's such a small die, it's going to dry, it's going to fly around my board. Oops. Come on, play. Thank you. Right. Okay. We're nearly there. We are, honestly. Pop that back so I don't lose it. Right, so there's our little dear, our dear little dear. Our piece on earth is now set. So some fast fuse on the back of that. You could use wet adhesive if you want. I normally would, frankly, but for some reason I grabbed this rather than my wet adhesive. Right, so that's that. And we now need to finish off our box. So, knowing that this is the bare side and therefore the front, wet adhesive back, pop glue on our double trees. Where are we on the time? 23 minutes. I need to get a wiggle on. Okay. Take a little more time than I am, so you know that it's right. Okay. Right, now this I'm going to, now am I going to do, yeah, I probably will do one silver and one glimmer. First thing I'm going to do is, yeah, stick that to that. You can use fast fuse again for this. I'm actually going to use wet adhesive, and all I'm doing is just overlaying one onto the other. Actually, fast fuse might be better, with the benefit of 20/20 hindsight. However, right, I will stick my dear on later. What I want to do first is grab my dimensionals, and I just want little bits. It's an ideal moment to use up your edge pieces because you really do just need little bits. Because what you want to do is make a tunnel for your ribbon to go through. So I'm going to have one there. Probably actually need to just open that out a bit, which is why it's probably better to not use fast fuse. And then pop this one there. Just check my front. I'm not too worried about that smush because we've got the deer to go on. So that's an ideal time to cover up any excess adhesive. And another one, whoops, another one there. Right, let me grab my ribbon, which I can't see for looking at it, and we'll start putting this together. So, candle, always good to put your candle in first. Then a dimensional at each corner of this. Oh, 26 minutes! Oh, I'm running out of time! Because the camera will go off in 4 minutes, so no pressure. Okay, so let's get an end. Pop our end over the top of the box, pop that on. Putting this on square would be classic, but you know. Okay, so peel the backs off these. And pop my ribbon up, pop that on. Bit of adhesive for my little deer, which is going to cover up all the mistakes. Just there. He will need a little while just to set, but hey ho, in the meantime, let's tie our bow in the next minute and a half. So, as I say, I will try and work out the metric measurements ready for the blog post, but all the dimensions otherwise will be, certainly the imperial measurements will be in the associated post, which is linked below. This is not the best bow in the world, but you know, under pressure and all that. If you have enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more, please subscribe, bottom right hand corner of your screen. And there will be more fun and frivolity coming very soon. If you would like any of these goodies, including obviously the new Christmas Carols of Christmas bundle, please, 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 please jump over to my online store. I really do appreciate your customs, so that would be brilliant. And if you need anything else, also on my online store. Thank you very much indeed. I hope you've enjoyed these. They are two quite different looks, I think, from the same basic idea. Reasonably quick, reasonably easy. I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye!